Hi, Rachel here from the NOIC Godcast, where we offer wacky wisdom weekly from God's Word. On today's episode, we're going to take a look at what is even better than luck, and if Christians can even believe in luck. Stay tuned. So, just my luck. Best of luck. You're so lucky.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Take luck.
Take luck as luck would have it.
Better
the
luck.
luck of the draw.
Lucky ducky.
Lucky Charms.
Lucky ducky.
Lucky
That's what I was
ducky.
thinking. They're magically delicious.
This is not sponsored.
Terribly nutritious.
Terribly not nutritious. I don't know.
So these are all pretty familiar sayings to most of us. What is luck? And can Christians even believe in luck? Well, according to Webster, luck means a force that brings good fortune or adversity, I can read, the events of circumstances that operate for or against an individual. So do you believe in luck?
Can you spill it for me?
I'll tell you at the end of the podcast.
I'm not here to judge everyone's answers if you believe in luck or not, but I believe in provision. Webster's
Webster's death. When he died, this is what he said.
Webster's definition for provision is, that's hard to say, definition
Definitions.
for provision.
Okay.
Definition
Yeah.
of provision.
Fair enough. I'm not you. I don't
I
just
know.
say
I don't know
those
what.
things.
And you're saying what I'm saying. I said fair enough, so you said fair enough. That's
Just keep going. I'll follow you. Okay, so Webster's definition for provision is the act or process of providing, the fact or state of being prepared beforehand, a measure taken beforehand to deal with the need or contingency. To simplify, pro means beforehand or in advance. Vision means to see. So simply, provision means seen beforehand.
Can you do the...
Whoa.
I can't. I'm not Batman.
Ooh.
You're gonna hurt
I
me in the
can't.
eye.
That I don't have the flexibility in my wrists.
I used to be able to do that. Now I'm
Wow,
old.
I didn't know that's one of the things you lost in your old age.
Oh.
Is it not this way?
Yeah, you
That used
flip
to be a
it.
thing.
Okay.
Batman, you flip it.
So what is that?
Or masquerade. That's CJ. Don't ask me.
What is that?
Oh. So, do I believe it just happens that things line up perfectly sometimes and work out? No. Do I believe it was just a coincidence that something happens in a certain way? Nope. I believe that God Almighty could see a need beforehand and set everything in motion to make sure I would have exactly what I need when I need it. Seeing things beforehand and being able to provide for that need is only something that God can do. Mm-hmm. God's provision is perfect, and honestly, it's so amazing when you can step back and look at it. One of the most familiar examples of his provision is found in Genesis. God was testing Abraham, knowing Abraham would need a sacrifice since God was going to spare Isaac. God caused that ram to get caught in the bush. No one knows how long. It could have been there for days, but God put him there so that it was perfect timing for Abraham.
My favorite person to illustrate that is Eric.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's this ram. He's just eating his lunch. He sees something shiny in the bush. He goes, and walks towards it, gets caught, and he's like, I'm toast.
Yeah.
But God did all that. God made the shiny bush.
He made the ram stupid.
Right. And his horns point to you. Like, I don't.
We recently went over this in LifeWise, and one of the students was like, "Did the ram just appear like it wasn't there before? You know what I mean? And then it just like God's like, he's gonna need something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not in like, oops, he's gonna need something. Like, give him something quick.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
ram, go.
I forgot about that.
You're like, ram, you're up. But either, I mean, it's kind of hard to, I don't know, if a ram was stuck in a thicket and you're like within reaching distance of it, it's kind of hard not to notice it. You know what I mean?
Unless he gave up.
Right. But also, I mean, and like, it just made me think that through the whole plan, the ram could have been there, just simply hidden from like God could have had the ram sitting there and just blinded. You know what I mean?
Or it could have been, it's all dead silent, like you're about to murder your son, and then all of a sudden, like,
What did you say?
What did you say?
What did you think? Who are you talking to?
But the idea of like God just put it there in that moment also struck me as a godly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like I think most baby rams at that wouldn't stray too far. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the things of like when God gives us things when we need them. And
Right.
it's not even just that can be knowledge as well and noticing things. It's just like when you're reading the Bible and you've read this verse 5,000 times and then you read it and you're like, that was not there the last time I read this.
Yes.
But he's just opening up understanding for the things that you need at that moment.
Yeah.
Right. So I just thought it was interesting that the student was thinking like, so God just put a ram in the thicket there.
I can't remember.
mean, he can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't remember. You didn't put the verse up there. I can't remember what the KJV says. I can't remember if it's Jonah or if it's Abraham. But one of them says God prepared. Like, I don't know if it was God prepared the whale or God prepared the ram, but one or another, God prepared it. But that prepared is what we're
Yes.
talking about here.
Yes.
Really, in this scene, like Kevin's saying, like, God prepared the bush. Like, the ram would have wandered off if he had not the bush to get caught in.
Right,
God
yeah.
prepared like the ram. God prepared the shiny thing, maybe hypothetically. Like God was like it's kind of like a stage scene. You know what I mean? Like God's behind the scenes, like ooh ram, bush, ooh shiny thing, ooh rubber knife. It wasn't a rubber knife, but but you see what I'm saying? Like
Just
he's
in case
preparing.
Abraham didn't say it right. It's like, I didn't know.
The ram was 2 seconds too late. Rubber knife. But God's preparing and orchestrating all this, and all we see is just from the stage, like just what we're seeing.
Right, yeah.
But God's orchestrating all these things behind the scenes, pulling this lever and this rope and the curtains and the whole.
Yeah.
Like he's good.
Yeah.
Like I could see this as a play, and then like right when the ram is needed, the spotlight shines on them. So it was there the whole time, but it just wasn't.
Well, it's just like being a parent, you do the same. Like Tolkien doesn't worry if I have food.
Yeah.
Like I just have it. It just shows up when I'm hungry or when he's hungry.
Right.
And so like it's kind of that same thing is like when we provide things to our children, that's exactly what.
So
he's
what
doing.
if when Abraham and Isaac are going up the mountain, like there's the ram there and he's there, and he's like every turn under every rock there's the ram, but he didn't see it until he needed it.
Yes.
Like that's when Abraham saw it was when he needed it, and that's what provision is seeing ahead to provide ahead. And so like the thing could have been there all along, but Abraham didn't see it until they needed it. And that's so like our lives. Like how often is the answer there all along? God had it ready completely from the beginning, but we don't see it until we need it. Like he has perfect timing, and that's what provision is.
Yep. But to like thinking of the provision and like looking at and breaking it down in your lives, like I can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those vast things. I think of God providing me with the amazing husband I have. I grew up in a church where I was relating to everybody.
It is a miracle, yes. God prepared a CJ. He's like, here.
But God knew what I needed in a husband, and he put that into motion in a lot of different things that would eventually bring them to our church. Had his grandpa never came here the first time, there's a really good chance that I would have never even met CJ. And I would just been stuck with a bunch of cousins, and that's no good.
That's a podcast for a whole nother state. I shouldn't have said that.
But it needs
That
to
is
be
not a
said.
future podcast.
The thing is, God sees our whole life at once. He can tell exactly what is best and what needs to happen to get to the best because he sees it all. He doesn't have to test out his theory, tweak it a bit here or there, and then when you see it all, you just can't get it wrong. God not only knows what is best for us and what he gives, but also in the timing that he gives it. We may feel like he's late, or it would have been great if we would have gotten this a little bit sooner, but he knows what we need to be sure we're leaning on him and not thinking that it was maybe something of ourselves. I was thinking about how we plan for camp, and we'll typically sit down and it'll be us, and we'll be like, it's a lot of, what if we did this? And then we sit there all kind of like, no, because like then this and this.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay. Then someone else will bring up a suggestion. Someone will point out like, no, that wouldn't work because of this. And then we kind of do that for hours until we come up with a plan or a solution.
I mean weeks.
Yes,
Months.
yes. So we spend a lot of time planning camp, and in our meetings we throw out a lot of crazy scenarios because, to be honest, you never know
Those
what
scenarios happen.
We do all that work, and then we get there. They're still like, that's the best you brought.
Yeah.
Like,
in our best efforts. Go ahead. I can read my thought.
The problem is that like we throw out like crazy hypotheticals and it's the opposite crazy hypothetical that we actually then
well,
we'll
that's
plan
kind
for.
of what I was thinking was like we are not God,
No.
and we are not provisional,
Right.
Istically able. to be like God. And so
Let's turn Dr. Seuss really quickly.
I don't know.
I am not like God in a house or with a mouse or in a boat or in my coat. With a goat. But regardless, what I was thinking was like the tornado year. Like that was new.
Yeah.
So the next year we planned for that. No tornado.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that's but sickness. We didn't plan for that. So this year gets what we're planning for. But it won't be this year. Like there'll be floods or something.
It'll be nothing. It'll be perfectly fine.
Like, we'll tiptoe across the whole camp all week and nothing will happen. But what I was getting at was like we are not God. We cannot be provisional. We are incapable of planning and preparing in advance for what's needed. We can't because we can't see ahead. Yeah. And like we can prepare ahead for what happened behind, but only God can be prepared ahead for what's ahead.
Yes.
Regardless of what's behind.
We plan on things based on like our experiences.
Right.
Like God doesn't have experiences, if you will. You know what I mean? Like
He lives in every moment.
Yeah, it's like he's not looking in the past because he doesn't have.
It's all the same time for him.
I liked that you said that God provides the best sacrifice or solution. So like how easily God could have gave like a mouse to Abraham. Like he's like squeak squeak. He's looking over there. What? Like, you know what I mean? He goes, what am I going to do with that? Like, he goes through and plunges the knife, right? But God provided a ram. And like, you think of a ram, like that's a meaty animal. Yeah. Like that's a big animal. Like I think of like a ginormous ram with the horns. And
that was like a baby ram.
I mean, it could have, but even that, like even in the animal sacrifice world, lambs were important and rams in the lamb family. Like it was a valuable.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of its age, it was of something of value. Like, and if you go on to Leviticus and all that stuff, like a lot of times pigeons were used for a poor person's sacrifice.
Yes.
Okay. God didn't provide a pigeon to Abraham. He provided a lamb or a ram, which is like the epitome of lamb. But you know what I mean? And like, that's so true in our lives. Like how often could he give us just run of the mill anything? And like he prepared it in advance. It's like, here, this is the best I got. Yeah. But God gives us our best. Yep. But just like with Abraham, he had to go all the way to the very moment to receive that best. Yep. And how often in our lives do we cut short? Like he's ready to give us his best, but we stop too early. Yeah. You know
or if God gave it too early. You know, if he was walking up that hill and he saw the ram, then he wouldn't know that he would have that much faith in God. Do you know what I mean?
This morning in Sunday school, we talked about Hagar. And Hagar had an unfortunate circumstance where, so Sarah, right, tried to give Abraham, same family, actually, not too far off, a little bit before this. So Abraham's supposed to have this family, right? And Sarah says, oh, I can fix this. And she tries to be provisional. Yeah. She tries to give Hagar as the solution to this baby problem. Yep. And God actually gives Sarah her way. He gives Sarah the very thing she asked for, the baby. Yeah. And Sarah's like,
like that's what I wanted. Go away.
And I love, like, this is so, I love that Sarah's name means princess. Yeah. Like, that whole story has a whole new layer when you recognize, like, if you just read her name as princess, like, it's hilarious. But for, again, how often do we try to provide for needs? We try to be provisional. We try to supply for the need. And like that, it just makes things so much worse.
Yep. What's crazy is that, like, when a woman becomes pregnant, you can become provisional because you're expecting to have a kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know that roughly within 9 months, you're going to give birth. So in her brilliant idea of giving up Hagar, like, she knew that in 9 months, this was going to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, we're going to provide what God is taking too long to provide. Yeah. We're going to intervene and provide it. But yet she couldn't even wait to see the provisional plan that she had laid out.
And I think,
you know what I mean? Like, she couldn't even wait.
That's the difference. I think humans attempt to provide. God gives provision. That's not the same as providing. Yeah. Providing is giving what I can. Yeah. Provision is seeing the need before anyone sees it or knows there's going to be a need and like, bam, ram. Yep. And so provision, bam, ram.
Bam, ram.
Bam, ram. That's our, let's do it. Shirts from the podcast. It's better than, what did you say earlier? And I said, we can't put that on a t-shirt.
Did I say something?
I don't remember that at all.
It was bad.
I'm not saying I did it. I'm just saying I don't know what it is.
I said I say so many bad things. I don't know which one you don't want on a shirt.
You just throw them all out there.
Yeah.
So that's my turn.
Yeah. You're going to tell us about.
Do you remember when you said you could read your thought? I said, your throat was squeaky. I said, do you remember you said you could read your
yes,
thought?
I can read my thoughts.
Let's do that.
So in our best efforts, in all of our time planning, we are still every year amazed that something new that we never saw coming happens. That doesn't happen with God. He doesn't ponder or rethink. He knows from the beginning what is perfect and makes plans just for that. That's just so amazing to me. Yep. So the next time you find yourself thinking, wow, that was so lucky, maybe you'll look back at what may have taken place to get you to where you are, knowing God is providing for you. Mm-hmm. Provisioning for you.
Provisionings.
I don't know how to, this is because it's a conversation, so it's an awkward quote.
Do you need Josh to read the other part?
do you want to be the dad?
I'll be Papa.
This is from
Hiding Place.
Hiding Place. So her father, this is from Corrie Ten Boom. Her father says, "When you and I go to Amsterdam, when do I give you your ticket?" I sniffed a few times considering this. "Why, just before we get on the train." "Exactly," he said. And our wise Father in heaven knows when we're going to need things too. Mm-hmm. Don't run ahead of him, Corrie. Mm-hmm. So I think we try to go ahead of God, and
it's not time for the ticket yet.
Well, like Sarah, if that would have been the end, and God would have been like, "Well, you did it," she would have missed out on the best.
Yep.
But I'm not sure. Boy. Okay, so when we try to move ahead of God's plan. Mm-hmm. That's not possible because God knows. Like the whole thing of Hagar in the desert. Like God saw that coming as much as he saw today coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or even tomorrow coming. You know what I mean? So we, in our limited, basically we're constricted by time and God is not. So that's just like a whole thing that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we look at things as in, I'm going to try to provide, see things in the future, like for tomorrow. You know what I mean? We could think, I need to put gas in my car tonight so I can get to work tomorrow. Makes perfect sense.
And somebody drives through your garage and destroys your car.
Exactly. Right. I was going to think of something else. Oh. But yes, that works just as well.
That's the thing.
Hypothetically. If your car doesn't start the next morning, then you put all that gas in your car for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes even when we're trying to be provisional, it's pointless because we don't know.
Like the car smashes in the garage, God will show you just how unprovisional you really can be.
Yep.
You thought you had this figured out? Watch this.
So the feature content today is You've Already Won by Shane and Shane. And last week's trivia?
Yeah, what was the answer?
So last week's trivia was, how many times is the word promise found in the Bible?
I totally forget.
Good.
We will tell you next week. I totally forget.
You don't have it highlighted on the other thing?
No.
Oh.
I thought, I'll surely remember this.
And look at those numbers. They're so
I feel like
it's C.
I feel like it was 111, but I can't remember.
Is it just the word promise?
Yes.
Not covenant, but promise.
CJ, don't prove me wrong. There's going to be none of those.
This is where we need elevator music.
Yeah.
That's not elevator.
That's just
same thing.
I'm doing Mario. So.
You need to do the thing that you do. That you do when he's walking to the stage.
That's for very specifically momentous moments.
Momentous.
B.
Okay, that was my second guess.
Well, it's the second option.
That's why.
Was C your third and D your fourth option?
Is it 222?
Ish.
I tell you.
Blue Letter Bible will do it.
Well, yes and no.
Little Dab will do you?
That's not the right one. You can podcast.
So this week's trivia.
Oh no.
Which of these did not happen during an NOYC? 2 tornadoes, A. B, a laptop struck by lightning. C, kitchen caught on fire. Or D, camp flooded. Which one did not happen? Do you know?
Yeah. I think it's debatable, but yes, I know. So many things I could say right now.
We should really count how many times the one has happened.
Multiple of those have happened multiple times. That's the tricky thing.
We want to say happy birthday to Noah Large, Michelle Bradford, Chrissy Hines, Andrea Baker, and Samantha Wolf.
Any
mail?
I was excited because I was writing at the very bottom was mail, but it's just.
Oh no, it's just that.
It's just Josh telling us.
Registration is crazy hot, coming in hot.
We're nearing halfway.
Nearing halfway full.
Wow.
It's not even March, or it is March now.
It is March.
It's barely
it is March 3rd.
It's barely March.
March Madness.
So we are nearing the halfway mark of capacity, but we also have many of our major normal groups like churches who have not registered. So I am very close to calling. We are going to be capped out this year, so make sure to get your registration in. I don't want to call you and say no.
Incinerator.
Oh, I said annihilation.
Annihilation. You said annihilation.
Annihilation.
Living a lie. I think that's what the T-shirt was.
Yeah. Oh, live like you're lying.
Live like you were lying.
Oh.
One of my students from LifeWire is registered.
Yep. First LifeWire student.
Awesome.
Welcome.
So make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all the things, and we hope to see you at camp. So make sure you register and stay tuned for next week. Yeah. Bye.
Bye, guys.
We didn't do an intro last week.
So maybe we
I
should
can't
put them at the
trust
end.
myself.
Yeah. Am I doing an intro now? Is that what the Zoom did?
Yeah, that's what
Zoomies.
Tolkien
Zoom,
gets the zoomies.
zoom,
He gets the
zoom,
couch
zoom,
zoomies.
zoom,
When we get home, he is like a dog. He like rolls all over the couch and goes from one end to the other.
That's the intro right there.
No. It's the Zoom themes. Josh knows it. I know he knows it. You can act like you don't, but I know you know it.
I've never heard the word Zoom in my entire life.
Wow.
That's a lie. Proficies.
Crazy thing, Sean.
Kevin's wow is my favorite part of that entire dialogue. That was good.